You might think that preppers is only a thing of the United States, but I can guarantee you they're all over the world. One of them is me. Hi guys and welcome to the channel. If this is your first time to the channel, we're talking about credit cards, points, finances and travel. If this is something that interests you, please like this video, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. One of the basic concepts of prepping I met very early in my life. There was a big earthquake in Athens, Greece, where I'm from. Well, I'm not from Athens, but yeah, Greece. And it was a big disaster. And I clearly remember scientists saying back then that every household should have one backpack per person with some emergency goodies in it, like water, like some food, a flashlight, a knife. And it stuck to my mind. And I remember I was almost 16 years old, around 16. And ever since, I made sure I always have a backpack next to the door, ready to go at all times. And that's a habit that stayed with me and evolved with time. And I honestly, ever since, I don't understand how people go without anything like that. To be quite frank, the other day I was sitting here with my wife and we were going through our backpacks, marking what we have, what we don't, what we need to replace. So no, I don't think people that are sensible and they try to prepare are crazy. Of course, there's people that take it to the next level, but I much rather be next to somebody that has everything they need than somebody that doesn't. Anyway, how does that translate to today's video? The last video was all about the questions I am asking through the channel, through the polls, and I get your answers. And there were some specific targeted questions that I asked, and the findings were very interesting. One of them, what worries you the most at this point? One of the options was a world war, and 50% of you chose that. The other one was if you're prepared for a prolonged financial crisis, and 50% of you said that you're not. I asked you if a zero APR credit card can act like an emergency fund, and 61% of you said that yes, and I was one of them. And something that's loosely related to the subject is that if declaring bankruptcy is a fraud or not, and that was a big debate there. I was with the team that said that yes, it can be a fraud, but only if it was planned from the beginning, because situations happen and it's a tool that people have. Businesses have that as a tool, so I don't see why not individuals cannot have it. So I wanted to take this concept in the financial sector. Now, we keep talking about prepping in the prepping world, and people think about knives, guns, whatever that is. But the real prepping in everyday crisis is all about financial. You have a health issue, you need good financial standing. You have whatever crisis in the world, the chances are that every crisis is localized and for a specific time frame. So even if you go to the concept of the world wars, you say Europe had a world war and it was completely destroyed, but Switzerland was not completely destroyed. Spain was not completely destroyed. They were all neutral countries. Nobody hurt them. So for them, yes, there was world war in the neighboring countries, but not for them. Needless to say that Latin America was completely unaffected. Of course, I assume in a financial level, with all the world economy being on crisis, they were affected, but there was no bloodshed in the continent. So yeah, I mean, it depends where you are, for how long you are there, and basically if you have the finances, you can get the heck out and find refuge somewhere else. So, good financial standing is much more important to be prepared for the worst case scenarios in life that you can imagine. And with that concept, connecting it to the credit cards, I applied for 2 credit cards today. One for me, one for my wife, since I can't have all the credit cards I want all by myself. So without any further ado, let's jump to today's presentation and come back to wrap it up. We're not gonna talk about them too long because we've talked about these credit cards extensively in other videos. We compared them, but these are the credit cards I applied today. The one is the Discover It, that is my credit card. I always want to have a zero APR credit card. This is for 15 months. And it's great for all emergencies. Even if you do have the funds, let's say in a 401k or invested somewhere, why take your money out of there and instead of growing, having them tied to that emergency? You can always use a credit card like the Discovery It and you're done. You can pay off in payments, so with zero APR. The good thing with this credit card is the sign-up bonus is the unlimited cash back for the first year. So basically, you get 5x on rotating categories, and if you only spend on those 5x, you're gonna get 10x by the end of the year, basically, and that's on many different things, even PayPal. So that alone is huge for me. And then the credit card I applied for my wife is the Citi Premier. The Citi Premier I have, so we technically don't need it. We do get all that great 3x on almost everything internationally, but it has basically the biggest sign-up bonus right now, 80,000 points after spending 4,000 in 3 months. It has excellent multipliers, and the return on spend for the first year is 27%. Now for the second and every year after, we apply our imaginary budget of $12,000 equally spread between travel, restaurants, gas, and groceries, and we see that applying everything to only the Discovery, it will be only 3% credit card instead of 5, because obviously you can't have everything on 5x. And on the Premier, you're looking at 5%, because yeah, it's a 3x credit card, but you can transfer these points to travel partners and get much more value. And on top of that, it has that $100 credit. Now, long term, I'm not planning to keep this Premier, or I'm not gonna keep my Premier, because we are one household. We don't need 2 Premiers. We don't need to pay $95 every year for the same card, basically. But I think it's important that you get that $800 cash value bonus. By the time you do the spending to hit the $4,000, you're gonna get about at least $50-$60 extra with those multipliers. So you're gonna get $850-$60. So the annual fee will come down to like $40 for the first year, and then you're good to go. You'll have about $450-$60 cash in your hands. Plus, with the Discovery Eat, you have 0% APR for 15 months. So immediately you have $750 in your pocket, 0 APR for 15 months, combining the two. And I think this is crucial to have every year. Next year, we might have a different setup. We might go with Wells Fargo that has a 2x credit card, and it goes up to 18 months, 0 APR. But the reason why I didn't choose the Wells Fargo is because I personally don't like Wells Fargo. As simple as that. I don't like them. They treated me badly in the past. So for me, they're not worth it. Discovery, I got the idea from you guys. I presented this credit card before. I said so many good things about it, but you also came back when I asked about the best customer service, and I didn't have Discovery on the selection, but you actually went down and you typed Discovery. So apparently it has excellent customer service, which makes me even more comfortable getting this new credit card and adding to my arsenal. The credit limit I got is not great. It's about $8,000. No, it's not about. It's $8,000, which is decent. I mean, it covers everyday emergencies, from maybe tires to a car issue or whatever else, and that for me is excellent. But that's all for today, guys. Let me know what you think. If you have any kind of setup with this in mind in your head for emergencies, let me know down in the comments below which credit cards you have or what kind of solutions you find to this kind of issues. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one. Ciao.